The last lecture we talked about the duty of the seller. Right now we are going to talk about the duty of the buyer. Page 91. The duty of the buyer according to the contract between the seller and the buyer. Duty to pay the price. The first duty is to pay the price from the buyer to the seller. It is the primary duty of the buyer to pay for the price of the goods supplied to him. Payment for the goods and delivery of the goods are concurrent conditions, and the buyer is not entitled to claim possession of the goods unless he is ready and willing to pay the price in accordance with the contract. Duty to accept the goods. The duty to accept the goods, we say this is the duty of the buyer. This is also one of the major duties of the buyer according to the contract between the two of them, the duty to accept the goods in accordance with the terms of the contract. In this instance, acceptance in a sense involves taking possession of the goods by the buyer, and delivery of the goods by the seller is of the essence in the contract. It is worthy of note that if the buyer fails to take delivery in time, that will not justify the seller in selling the goods to another person, unless the delay is clearly unreasonable to justify the seller to conclude that the buyer has repudiated the contract. Where goods are delivered to the buyer which he has not previously examined, he is not deemed to have accepted them unless and until he has had a reasonable opportunity of examining the goods for the purpose of ascertaining whether they are in conformity with the contract or not. Personal remedies. The seller of goods under a sale of goods contract has two remedies. For the breach of contract, of course, under this head available to him as against the ones available under the real remedies that will be discussed later. This is an action that directly affects the buyer for the seller to recover sums of money representing that he has lost. Action for the price, action for damages. First, action for the price. An action for the price is an action in debt. The seller has the right to bring an action for the price if he is in debt. Action for damages, where the buyer wrongfully neglects or refuses to accept and pay for the goods, the seller will have an action for damages for non-acceptance. Real remedies. We talked about personal remedies. These are real remedies. The seller may exercise some real rights against the goods and against the personal remedies discussed above. These are real rights and are in relation to the goods. They are right in rem. Rights of the unpaid seller. Unpaid seller. An unpaid seller is a seller who has not been paid the whole of the price, or when the bill of exchange or other negotiable instrument has been received as conditional payment and the condition for which it has been received has not been fulfilled. Rights of stoppage in transit. Rights of stoppage in transit. The right is a right of stopping the goods while they are in transit, transportation, transfer, resuming possession of them, and retaining possession until payment of the price is fulfilled. The unpaid seller has the right to resume possession of goods which are left in his possession as long as they are still in the course of transit. Rescission and resale. A contract of sale is not rescinded by the exercise of the right of lien or stoppage. Here, the buyer may be able to require delivery on tendering payment of the price where the property in the goods has passed to the buyer. It will not revert in the seller merely because they exercised the right of lien or stoppage. Okay. Right now we are going to talk about section 4, contract of freight. Contract of freight is on page 95. Section 4, contract of freight. Introduction. Bill of lading is a major part of the contract of freight, but it serves a dual purpose, either as a contract between the ship owner and the third party, or as merely an evidence of goods between the ship owner and the charter party. The bill of lading is the category of contract referred to as contract of adhesion. A contract of freight is normally evidenced by a bill of lading when the goods to be shipped from only part of the cargo which the ship is to carry. Bill of lading. We are excuse me. We are going to talk about the bill of lading. The bill of lading is an instrument, is an important aspect of the carriage of goods by sea, so transferring by ship. A bill of lading is a document signed by the ship owner or by the master or other agent of the ship owner, which states that certain goods have been shipped on a particular ship and sets out the terms on which these goods have been delivered to and received by the ship owner. It is usually in standard form, which in some cases govern the contract of carriage of goods by sea, by ship. It is divided into two parts. On one is blank, on which the names of the party freight and the particular voyage will be reproduced, and one printed containing clauses entered literally in advance by the carrier. The bill of lading is issued to the shipper, the ship owner, in sets of three. One is retained by the master or broker, while two copies are dispatched dispatched, one by express mail to the buyer or the consignee. It is a document of title, possession of which in legal sense is position of goods, which is represents.